Thanks for coming on, man.
No worries.
So this is the first podcast in hopefully a long series, and since this is your first appearance, and you might be coming on as a reoccurring guest, but it's your first appearance, so I thought the viewers could get to know you a little more, and you could maybe talk about your whole, life story. So, how's quarantine been, or like how's life been during the whole quarantine period?
Well, how long was the quarantine again? Like two weeks?
Yeah,
Weeks?
yeah. Well, a bit longer than that. 5 weeks.
Really? 5 weeks. All right. Well, apart from like Google Classroom notifications, like every morning.
Yeah,
Oh,
that sucks.
yeah. Like just waking up and then all your subjects, just chemistry. Well, I have chemistry, biology, like all that.
Yeah,
And well, apart from that work, just staying home and not doing much. Well, personally, like I'm not really a going outside guy. Like I don't think myself as a really social guy, but I didn't mind the quarantine too much. But I definitely miss going back to school, and I definitely like appreciate the time I spend with people in real life, like you, for example.
thanks.
After the quarantine now, yeah, everything's just back to normal. Apart from, ignoring everything else that's happening, like the protests.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm just trying to focus back on school, and hopefully get things right on track to how originally was planned.
yeah.
At the start of this
yeah.
year.
First, I'd like to intervene by saying we are filming at our school, so if there are any like announcements or bells, we'll try and ignore it. It's not perfect, but we've been kindly given this room to use for our podcast, but there might be some background noises, so yeah. But yeah, so quarantine life, it hasn't been too bad, right? Been pretty good.
Yeah, it's been quite pleasant, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't really know anyone personal, like who's affected by COVID, but I definitely like haven't ignored its presence. I'm definitely still taking safety measures.
Yeah. I feel like for me, it hasn't been the most comfortable period of my life, but I can like say that I haven't felt the consequences as bad as other people have, so I can't really complain. But so you haven't always been in Australia, have you?
No, well, I was born in Australia. Like, you know Gold Coast, right?
Yeah. Gold Coast up in Queensland.
Yeah. I stayed there for like a few years until I started my schooling or education in Indonesia. It's actually back and forth. So in my primary years, like year two, I was in Indonesia, and then I came to Australia to have year three, and I actually traveled like to a lot of places around Australia because my dad had work
Yeah.
in different places.
What does he work as?
He's like an engineer, but he doesn't do the civil work. He does like designing,
Oh, okay.
inspection,
Like a architect sort of thing.
sort of, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's more design. Anyways, so I've been to Adelaide, no particular order. Adelaide, Perth, Gladstone. I forgot that. Like, where's that around? Like, do you know?
Gladstone. I wouldn't have any idea. How do you spell it?
Gladstone.
Sounds Scottish or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But yeah,
In Australia though?
I'm pretty sure I haven't been to any other countries besides Australia
Oh, okay.
and Indonesia. So, yeah, I've been to Brisbane, and I guess I've also visited other places in Australia, like not for school, like Melbourne, Canberra with my family, and and after year six, I came back to Indonesia
Yeah.
to have my high school. But the thing with Indonesia is that when I went there and I started school again, I was pushed back a semester because
Why is that?
because that's I don't know.
Is this for year 6 or high school?
All grades? Like if you were in year two, in Australia, and you went to Indonesia, you'd probably be pushed back to
Yeah,
year one.
like did you go to Indonesia on the start, like end of year 6 or the start of year 7?
Oh, so in Australia I was year six, right?
Okay.
End
And
of
then
year
that's
six.
when you left.
Yeah, to year seven, but then in Indonesia I was pushed back to
Yeah.
mid year six.
how was that like mentally for you? Because you know, you're growing up and you kind of had attachments with people during primary school. And I remember when because Linear, I go to school at Linear, and uh, I remember like back in year 6 or the start of year 7, I had to leave. Everyone had to leave, but it wasn't really in my general area, so I was the only one from my primary school, and that was like really tough on me, having to fit in. But that must have been like really, really hard for you, because they're like on the other side of the earth. What was that like for you, having to adjust to becoming friends with people in a whole different country?
Well, so the schools I went to, they were international schools most of the time.
What are those? Why don't you explain to viewers what an international school is?
So you could call them private schools, but usually I associate private schools with like a single gender.
Yeah.
But international schools, like you'll usually find them in like non-native English speaking countries, like Indonesia.
Yeah.
Basically, you have to, like, they're really expensive. When I say expensive, like really expensive. So you have public schools in Indonesia, which are like public schools in Australia. Not like you don't have to pay much, at least, to go there. But international schools you pay, and they use this system called the IB system.
We won't go too much into the like whole payment or what you paid or anything, but because it's a bit private. But how does the payment system work?
The payment system,
just
like currency?
No, like is it all in 1 year, or? I think you just pay a big sum.
No, it's every semester.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
But how close were you with the people at your Indonesian school?
I went to a few, like the ones in primary. I'm not very close to, like, because I just don't talk to them anymore. Like, since I've went to so many schools before, and like I keep transitioning, back and forth.
Oh, so the international school wasn't the only school you went to in Indonesia? Like you went to others?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think I went to one in primary, and then I went to Australia, and then I came back to Indonesia in in Bandung, in Indonesia.
Yeah.
Have you heard of it?
Bandung?
Yeah, Bandung.
Where is that? Whereabouts is that?
It's in the west of Indonesia.
Okay.
But yeah, there I went to an international school there. I'm actually still in contact with my friends there, but I don't really talk to them much. Then I went to like mid-year 7. I went to one in Jakarta, Bintaro.
Yeah, is Jakarta the capital of Indonesia?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Yeah.
Well, if I didn't know that.
Yeah. Failed geography, I'm guessing.
Actually, didn't do geography. But anyway, that's besides the point. Yeah. Like I'm very close to them. It's just that I felt sort of like out of place sometimes, because I had a friend group there, but they would always know how to really talk, like socialize a lot.
Yeah.
But whenever I would hang out with them, like I only socialized a bit, and I kind of felt like left out. I mean, I did have a best friend there, but
TJ?
Yeah.
Name drop.
Yeah, TJ. It was pretty cool. I'm still in contact with him, but not as much as I used to be, obviously.
Yeah. So getting into the whole social thing, you're not a very social person. Not as if it's a bad thing, but you're not a very enthusiastic, out there person. You're very reserved. Like, is that by choice, or do you find comfort in being less sporadic, if you will?
I guess it's sort of both. Like, sometimes I just don't want to. Like, I don't feel like really showing much enthusiasm in the things I do. In the past, I probably was very enthusiastic about things.
Yeah.
Over time, I've changed. And because of that, I do find comfort in sometimes, like, not going outside, or, I mean, it does sound sort of sad, but
yeah,
like,
you're exaggerating a bit.
but yeah, it's sort of subtle, but like I do enjoy talking to people like this. The podcast is a pretty good
Yeah.
opportunity.
Well, you're not exaggerating, but it's not. I said you're exaggerating a bit, but that's not totally true. It's. Is it? Am I correct in assuming that it is the case, but it's not as bad as people would think? Like, for me, like, oh, not going outside sounds like, oh, like I'm completely depressed. That's not the case for you, is it?
Yeah, it's nothing to do with like depression. It's just like I find sort of comfort in like not going too many places, but occasionally I will, because obviously I do enjoy still talking to people, but yeah, it's nothing serious like that. But I do know that it's like a condition of some sort or like a problem some people have, but that's not what I have. It's just I find more comfort in spending time alone sometimes.
Yeah. So back to your Indonesian friends. How was like what was the process like? I mean, like, what was your first encounter with someone at that school? Like, how did you become friends with your first like friend? If that makes sense. Take us back.
Well, I'll go to the most recent one because with TJ. So basically, I met TJ not in a way that you'd think you'd guess. So so outside the main building of the classes, there were these benches that the boys gathered there.
The boys.
The boys. And my method of searching for friends, I think you already know, but
yeah, I think you've told me this.
It might come up as a bit racist. No, not racist.
Not racist. Just say it.
So I would try to find a big Asian guy to be friends with, and because that method worked for me in the past.
Is there some like underlying psychological issues at play here? Like, were you neglected by a big Asian man? What's going on here?
No. I don't know. I just found them to be very trustworthy. Like in my primary school in Indonesia, like I would follow this big Asian guy around, and I guess I just used that again.
Yeah. Like, and you found him. What was that like?
It was probably very it was very reassuring to have someone like him there. So, because at that time I obviously didn't fit in with anyone. Like I tried my best to talk to people, but they already had friend groups. It was already high school there. Like it would be much easier to make friends if you came straight out of year 6. Even easier if you came from the same school. But obviously I didn't.
Whole different country.
Yeah, and plus some of them spoke fluent Indonesian, but I wasn't I'm not able to speak fluently.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that. How was that like in the playground? Did people speak Indonesian or did they speak English? Was there a language barrier there?
Well, since it was an international school, people went there because they wanted to speak English or because they'd rather speak English than just pure Indonesian. But also because the conditions of the school, it's much more much safer and much just better overall compared to public schools. Like you should see the public schools in Indonesia.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are the public schools like?
So two things. So the school itself, they're not the classrooms are dirty. They're not really up to date with the technology. They don't have smart boards. They usually don't have smart boards. The last time I went there, they still use chalkboards.
That's pretty bad. I remember the last time I saw chalkboard was in year 2 or something. Yeah. So they're still using.
Yeah,
okay.
They still use chalkboards.
And why is that? Is that because of the Indonesian economy, or is there an imbalance between the international schools and the primary schools? Do you think there should be that gap?
Well, it clearly there is.
Okay.
Because
I think we've established that.
I'm pretty sure the public schools like run by the government. I might be wrong on that, but not as much money goes into them. As for if it should exist, I definitely think the government should try to do its best to support the schools even more, like Australia does. Like Australia's education system with the government, like it's like
I definitely think Australia has really good schools because we value education and that whole lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cliche stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely think the government in Indonesia could try a bit more to like be like Australian government, not like run the same way Australian government does.
But what you're saying is like the whole quality thing.
Yeah, the quality.
So, in Indonesia, in your international school, I remember you told me that compared to the schools that we have here, the academics, like even in English, are much higher because you came from an international school and you're doing pretty well in this school. So it seems counterintuitive that like, and sorry if I keep saying like, I'll try not to keep saying that, but it seems counterintuitive how a school that's in a country that doesn't really speak the whole language is, I don't know, more academically sound than a school in a country that is like English speaking. But obviously there are some variables like this is like we're comparing a linear to an international school in Indonesia. But do you think that the international school was more academically sound even in English, and why is that?
Well, I think it's all about standards, to be honest. Like the international. Okay, I'm not saying.
Be careful there.
Yeah.
People at our school are going to be watching this podcast.
Yeah, but it's kind of obvious there. Like the standards between what international school expects people to do, because you're also paying a lot of money to go there. Like you don't want to fail everything you do in that school while you're still paying.
Yeah, like there's an incentive there to do well.
Yeah, but obviously there are the people that don't do well there still.
Yeah, I find that as well in universities. Like that's why you see people acting more maturely or acting more dedicated, because there is an incentive that you have to complete the. Oh, I said like twice. You have to complete the whole curriculum and like finish the course, because if you don't, then university doesn't really care. All right, cool. You didn't finish. All right,
cool. You got your money.
We'll take another 20 grand. Thanks.
You're in debt.
Yeah. So you're saying that there's like an incentive. I said like again. Oh my god, I can't stop. So you're saying that there's an incentive to do well because of that money thing.
Personally, yeah, I think that's what it is. But I think the school, like from experience, definitely in the international school, they definitely pushed a lot of people to do more things. Like they would have these they would make people do these projects that would benefit like the world. They're called essay activities.
Okay,
I forgot what the essay stands
like
for.
Innovative stuff. Innovative stuff.
Not really. Just it's like let's for example like selling or donating books to a place that needs books.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think you told me that TJ did something with violins.
Yeah, TJ, he's been a volunteer for like this orphanage.
Yeah.
For a few years now. Really proud of him. And he teaches them a violin. Okay. I'm not sure if he still does, but he's been teaching them violin for there's that many years.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I think he learned. I'm not sure if he learned violin on his own, like on his own volition, but maybe his parents like wanted him to. But yeah, that's an example of an essay activity. But other than that, the grades really matter if you like. And there's a thing where if you don't do well, like people will look down on you. I think that applies to like all schools.
In Indonesia?
No, like in general.
Oh, in general.
Like you would agree that. Actually, do you agree with that?
That if you don't do well, you're looked down upon.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think that's the case. I think, and obviously, I think that's the better alternative because, like, sure, there are some people who don't do well by option, and that's their own choice. But there are also some people who can't or are challenged mentally. So but yeah, that's interesting. That do you think does that happen in Indonesia?
Maybe I'm exaggerating it a bit, but it like people definitely compare each other like a lot.
So there's a competitive nature there.
Sort of.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, that's the bell. Yeah. So I also wanted to get into, because you're a musician who doesn't listen to music for some reason. You're a musician and you perform, you sing and play the acoustic guitar, for anyone who didn't know. But last year at an event at our school called Mad Night, he performed he did a performance, and I just wanted you to take us back and talk about how that was, like the day leading up to it, how everything was, like 5 minutes before the performance, during the performance. What was the whole process like?
Well, so the song I performed was "Fly Me to the Moon," and since I was already in music class, I wanted to, like, before I even knew about Mad Night.
And can I just stop you? I don't know if we should name drop names for privacy reasons, so just use Bob or Jack or something like that. Yeah.
We'll use TJ, but yeah. Before I knew about Mad Night, I was already in music, and I really just wanted to perform or do something to like show off my skills, because that's what you do when you perform. And I was trying to search for a song that I like genuinely liked, and I came across this video, and it was from it was a rap of. It had a rap in it.
Yeah, I think I've seen the video. Yeah,
it's a "Fly Me to the Moon," right?
Yeah.
And
can I just say I love that video? Like, all the comments are just like, have you seen the comments?
I didn't read them all, but
they're all like, 5 seconds in, this guy's about to steal my girl. Like, the song is just, it's too much.
Yeah, I think his name is Going Spaceward.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I don't know why I fell in love with that cover. I just thought it was so good.
It was good, but it was also low key, wasn't it? Like, it wasn't over the top with dynamics and volume, but it was a good song, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think another reason why I chose to perform that song was because in my Indonesian school, the recent one with TJ in it, we also had like performance nights.
Yeah. And
there was one girl who performed "Fly Me to the Moon," and I was really like impressed by it. Like, her voice was
the Frank Sinatra version, or had that video not come out yet?
The original one.
Oh, okay.
The cover, the rap cover, hadn't come out.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I was just really impressed by that, and I think that was a really big factor in me deciding to perform that on Mad Night.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Once I've decided, I just kept practicing it. The rap verse is pretty hard, and I don't think I did well with it.
Yeah, it was a bit of a tongue twister.
Yeah, but
have to hire Eminem to do the rap verse for you.
Yeah, I was mumbling a lot. But
yeah, you were.
I tried.
You tried. You did very well.
Thank you.
I nearly cried during the performance.
Yeah. Well, my rap was too good.
Yeah, it was just too good. I'm like, damn, this guy, he needs to get rid of the guitar, just start rapping, drop the mic. Yeah, but how were the days leading up to the performance, and during the performance? How was that?
Before the the actual performance, like the days before,
Mm.
I was just practicing hard in the music room. At school, I would like go there at lunch and just practice like all out. And that's when a few more people started to really like know about me.
Mm.
But anyways, like, yeah, it was kind of nerve-wracking, definitely, because it was gonna be my first individual big performance, like to
Mm.
make me known or to really put my voice out there, like for people to hear. And yeah, I've never sung before, like in front of an audience.
In front of an audience.
Yeah.
How great is it that you do it in front of a huge audience instead, like for your first time?
Don't know if that's the best because like luckily I didn't mess up.
It's like serving Gordon Ramsay on your first day as a cook. You just go straight into the deep end.
Yeah, but I knew I had to take that step to really overcome most of the fears I had about performing. But I definitely know that like that's what many people struggle with. But all I can say is for those people, just do it.
Yeah, just do it.
It's not really helpful, but like that's what I did, and it paid off. I didn't, mostly because I didn't mess up, obviously, but
Just do it and don't mess up. Those are your
just
words
do
of
it and
advice.
mess up.
You are the worst teacher. Yeah. Yeah. So while you're on stage, how was that like? How nervous were you when you went out on stage? What was that like?
Oh,
Talk us
boy.
through that.
All right, so it's like it's even worse. It's the worst when you see the person in front of you, or like in the queue before you perform and end their performance, and then it's your turn to get up.
Yeah.
You have to put effort into getting off your seat, walking up the stairs. The backstage people go like, "Yeah, good job. You'll do good. Good luck." And then the curtains are closed, and
Yeah.
you're just there waiting.
Are you like the last performance? Are you hoping that it never ends?
Oh yeah, like that's.
But in your mind, is it like an eternity, or does it go? Oh, can't click. Or does it go just like that?
Just like that, and it's like it goes even faster when you're performing. So when the curtains open, I think I like my soul left my body. I couldn't track time. I lost a sense of time, and
Yeah.
when I was performing, I felt like a robot. Like I was, all I knew was that just don't screw up. Don't voice crack. Just do it.
So as you're walking up, is it hard to walk up the stairs? Like, are you physically dreading the moment that is about to happen?
Dreading and excited. I think that's what made like. I don't get how some people faint like before performances, or if that ever happens. But like, if in the first place you should be wanting to do the performance, you shouldn't have to feel like someone's forcing you. And that's what I felt was I really wanted to do this. This is what I want to do, but I'm very nervous.
Yeah. And
I need to get up on that stage and perform. And yeah, the nervousness. I think that's that's the thing that caused me to lose a sense of like my sense of time. Like when I was performing, it felt like 2 seconds.
Really?
Yeah, like because I think it's because the lights was like blinded my vision because they were like really bright. So I couldn't really look at I couldn't care about the audience. I could only care.
Okay.
I could only care about.
I hate the audience.
I could only care about my guitar.
Yeah.
It not screwing up, and
can that happen?
Yeah, like
strings break or something. Can that happen?
It happened like during practice.
Oh
I
my
was
god!
So scared that would happen during the performance. And that was like when I was practicing with a pick, and I did any sort of soloing or when I was doing simple chords. Thing it broke
during practice.
Yeah, I think it happened like at least 3 times.
Oh my god, that must be like 3 times the strings break.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. How about this? What do you're this is a hypothetical, but the person before you is performing. They're getting to the middle of their song, and you're like practicing at backstage, and all your strings break. Like you do a strum, and they all just snap. They all just get they're gone.
Really?
You hear the crowd go, "Woo!" and then you hear someone announce you. What do you do? Do you go a cappella? Like what happens?
Well, if I knew how to play piano, then I'd go to that. If there was no piano, just take another guitar and hope to God like it's tuned properly.
Yeah.
If there's no guitar, then I guess a cappella, like there's nothing you can really do there. Like you need to have everything prepared. Like you can't have anything go wrong, which is, I think that's what most people are nervous about when they perform. Like they're not nervous about wanting to perform. Like they're, in the first place, they wanted to perform, unless they're being forced, which like I said before, you shouldn't have to be forced to perform anything. But yeah, the people should just what was I saying again?
That you just perform, just do it.
Yeah, just perform. And
yeah, it's your first podcast, so it might be hard, but yeah. So for those of you who don't know, I will be performing.
Looking forward to that.
When it all came into fruition when I was sitting at the stage of an event, and that event's name was Mad Night. I saw Rakha perform, and I was thinking, this is really good. And I was also thinking, I'm gonna do this next year. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna perform as well. We're doing a duet, by the way. So yeah, that's interesting.
That.
Yeah.
I think a lot of other people
will be doing duets.
No, like got inspired to do a performance next year.
Yeah.
Well, I know one person, but yeah, he said he wanted to perform because I was up there, and hopefully he does go through with it. But yeah, I guess it's a new feeling when you inspire people to do something like because of what you did.
Yeah.
But
what did he say exactly? Like,
I'm definitely gonna perform next year.
Was he there in the crowd?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I'll tell you after.
Yeah, you can tell me after. Yeah. You're definitely performing this year?
Yeah. Hopefully I find a good song to like.
Yeah, you've been tossing and turning, not like with what song you want to perform, right?
Yeah, I haven't decided. I mean, there's just too many to choose, to be honest.
I'll choose for you Smash Mouth. Done.
I did that with DJ.
You did?
It was,
yeah, I think you told me.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah, talk about that.
So we had music class, but it was when I was in Indonesia.
Yeah.
But like,
what year were you in?
Year 8 or year 7. And everyone had to do like a duet or had to sing. And
okay, this sounds like a very forceful and oppressive school. I don't know what school you went to.
No, but this was part of a task. Like,
okay,
and you were like in singing class, or
that was, you did singing class?
It wasn't really focused. I mean, it had singing elements, but it was in general a music class, like the ones we have now. But the teacher wanted us to perform in front of the class. Some people had like backtracks, but TJ and I didn't. we just picked out Smash Mouth All Stars. And
what? How did that come into your mind? Oh, okay, we're gonna do Smash Mouth. Did you just look at him and go, Smash Mouth? We're doing Smash Mouth. How was that? How'd that all come up?
I think it started as a joke.
What?
Like the
best ideas always start as a joke.
That dumb feeling when you like go with your friends and like, oh yeah, we're doing this like as a joke, and then when I don't know if you can relate to it, but like if you then when the due date comes and then like, oh crap, we've
Oh,
been
crap.
practicing the joke.
Yeah. We've been practicing the joke for 2 weeks.
And we same feeling, like person in front of us performing, and then ends, and then we're just there like stones, statues, just frozen in place, and then we go up and we just do our best. I'm not sure if we were in the right key.
How did it go?
Hey, now you're
Yeah, so it was monotone. No. Like, no, how did the performance go? You don't have to do a live performance.
Okay. Well, looking back on it, I don't think we did too bad, but it was definitely really awkward because I'm not sure if we were like in the same key. We were probably really off. Everything was off, tempo was off, all that. No instruments, so it was really up to our voices to do the playing, and we relied on people knowing what the song sounded like already. But we did it, and we were graded on it.
Yeah.
I think I got 6 out of 8 because that's how they graded over there. It's like out of 8. And TJ got like 5.5. I think he got boosted from like 5.
So another thing I wanted to talk about is because you're an academic person, as am I. Not an academic. We're not tooting our own horns, but you like school work.
Okay. So
our audience is gonna hate us. Gonna switch off. Oh, I can't listen to these nerds.
That was actually me when I first came here.
Yeah, that was I think you told me about it. It's really weird. So you were, can I say, average before you came to Australia?
Yeah, like among the Indonesians in the international school, I was average.
Yeah.
Then when I came here, it's like instant top, instant everything.
Yeah. And how'd you do that? Steroids.
I wouldn't say I studied like 24/7 like people assume Asians do.
Yeah.
But I just, honestly, the trick is just pay attention in class. Yeah, I think I told you that, especially in math. Just definitely don't goof off. Just listen to the teacher. It's all you got to do.
And now that you've been awarded ducks, again, like you were the winner. I don't know the correct term, but you got ducks last year. Do you think there's an added pressure on you now to do well, or there's a perception that you're the smartest kid, or you're like a really smart kid? So is there a pressure on? Do you feel like there's pressure on you to do well?
Well, when you get the pressure like that, now in year 11, it's more about doing well to get good grades for a good university, or just getting good grades in general, so that people know that, oh, you're a good kid. You're not someone who goofs around. But definitely in year 10, it was different because it was more about how people perceived you, how people thought of you, like, oh, you're the smart kid, oh, you're the dumb kid. And when I came there, what I focused on was trying to like get along with people and trying to not be just someone else, just a new kid. I wanted to be someone else that people could like not look onto, but like just know about. And I guess it worked. Like just getting first in math was enough.
In Indonesia?
No, in Australia.
In Australia. Oh, yeah.
In Indonesia, it was different.
In Australia.
People, at that time, people didn't really care if you got good grades apart from like the last exams. Like,
yeah, I remember when you first came to the school, and I thought the year that you came, I thought, yeah, all right, this year's my year. I'm gonna, and then you come in out of nowhere. I still remember it, like to this day. It was English class, I think, and we were giving our marks back, and then I'm like, all right, hopefully I did well. And then I got it, and it said, I think like 2 out of 5 or something. I really did really badly in that exam. And then I heard like chatters of people like I just heard like mumbles or whatever, and people were talking about how you got 5 out of 5. The only kid that got 5 out of 5. I was so cut.
I was surprised. I was. Was there anyone who got a 4 out of 5? I don't think there was.
I'm not sure. No, I don't think so.
I know.
I was so annoyed.
And yeah, that happened over and over again.
Yeah. No, but that was good. That readjusted me. It forced me to become a better student, and I think your hard work has forced me this year to work even harder. Because this year, man, yeah, I'm coming for you. I'm coming for that status.
And you know what? I'm glad that like I did well last year, because then it really pushed you and we got closer over that.
Yeah, I definitely think you coming to the school definitely pushed my academic marks, indirectly, obviously. But I try and think about, if you didn't come to the school, how I would have done.
So like a paradox.
Yeah, it's no, but thanks for that. Thanks for coming to the school. Thanks for coming to Australia.
No problem.
Well, we're at the 40-minute mark, so
that's surprising.
Yeah,
Oh,
real quick.
wow.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on. The viewers will be seeing a lot more of you, hopefully, in the future. It was a good conversation. Thanks.
I really enjoyed being on the podcast.